area. Hello and good evening to you. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live morning news up here at Desawe Kanda, also live on TV Ghana on Facebook, the SCV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, we stay on the ongoing bipartisan probe into the alleged plot to oust the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akuffo-Dampare, which has been adjourned to 2nd October after the National Security Minister and Bugri Nabo testified in camera earlier today. We have details for you because the vice chair of this committee is going to be joining us tonight. There's some interesting detail coming out of today's in-camera hearings earlier in the day. Also, Asen North Member of Parliament Kennedy Ejapong secures the top spot again, followed by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on the ballot paper for the November 4 primaries of the new Patriotic Party to elect its flag bearer ahead of election 2024. The aspirants have been speaking about what their positions mean to them. Stay with us. Also, the National Democratic Congress insists the new cocoa price announced by President Akufo-Addo is a rip-off on cocoa farmers, but the NPP maintains the increase is a record high. Tonight, all the people who have not been heard in this debate, the farmers, the cocoa farmers, are joining us tonight on this back and forth about the cocoa pricing. Because the NPP has been talking, the NDC has been talking, but how about the cocoa farmers themselves, who are supposed to be either the victims or the beneficiaries of this announcement? What do they make of all of this? Stay with us. They'll be joining us here on Ghana Tonight. As always, you're on a very part of the program. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and Twitter. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
The National Security Minister, Alfred Ocansey, would not disclose the content of an interim report from the National Security regarding the leaked audio tape at the center of the alleged plot to oust the IGP. The minister told the committee that the document cannot be released because it remains classified. This came to light at a media briefing after an in-camera hearing of the committee in Parliament, which included the sector minister and key witness, Bugri Nabo.
Superintendent Asari, COP Mensa, and the rest of them, even Chief Bugri Nabo, they were present. The only person who couldn't show up was the IGP, although he was penciled for today. And then they agreed with what the Minister for National Security said. And then he was accordingly discharged.
NPP presidential aspirants Kennedy Ejapong has picked number 1 after balloting for the party's November 4 presidential primaries. The Asin Central Member of Parliament also picked number 1 during the Superdelegate Conference on August 26. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia picked the 2nd slot, while former Agriculture Minister Dr. Osei Akoto picked the 3rd slot. A former MP for Mampong, Francis Adai Nimo, picked the 4th slot. The NPP is expected to hold its National Delegates Conference on November 4 to elect a flag bearer for the 2024 general elections. The NPP's Presidential Elections Committee Chairman, Reverend Professor Aaron Michael Quay, has noted that the party has resolved a number of issues and requests made by the aspirants themselves.
We have resolved a number of issues and requests made by the aspirants themselves. We are generally agreed that there will be nothing like camping of persons so that people will come freely and vote freely on this occasion. And we are going to meet the police together with the EC officials so that everybody sings through the same hymn book on that day.
Environmental Protection Agency has declared the Ghanaian owner of the quarry at Anto Aboso in the Shama district of the Western Region wanted. This comes in the wake of the explosion which claimed 5 lives, including its Chinese partners. EPA has launched investigations into the incident, but officials say the Ghanaian owner, who is key in the ongoing investigations, is nowhere to be found. EPA has meanwhile removed the Western Region Director. Dr. Jordi is to report to the head office for reassignment, while the Central Region Director, Shine Fiagomo, takes over from him. The Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokonu, has cautioned court bailiffs against demanding money from persons they serve in court processes. She was speaking at the 2023 Judicial Service Staff Durbar at Cape Coast.
We are here to serve the people of Ghana. I don't want you to ever forget that. So bailiffs, you cannot be demanding money from people before you set off to serve their processes, because that was not the condition of service that you were given. If you don't like the job because we won't allow you to be demanding money, you can give me my job back.
The annual inflation rate fell in August to a 10-month low at 40.1% from 43.1% in July. This means between August 2022 and August 2023, the rate of price increase has dipped by 3% amidst the cedi stability. Foods such as cereal and cereal products continue to drive inflation.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Coming up next here on Ghana Tonight. We stay on the ongoing bipartisan probe into the alleged plot to have the IGP removed by President Akufo-Addo, which has been adjourned to 2nd October after the National Security Minister and Bugri Nabo testified in camera earlier today. We've got some details for you tonight, and after the in-camera hearings earlier today, the chair of the committee, Samuel Atachia, made some specific comments about what happened in camera. But before that, COP Alex Mensah, one of the 3 persons who were interrogated by the committee, left the committee hearing today in high spirit. In fact, he told Ghanaians, who the journalists who accosted him outside, that the truth will come out soon. Take a look.
Sorry, I don't want to make any comment on this issue. At the appropriate time, I will speak on it.
You are done with the scrutiny today?
I'm sorry.
You are done today?
Yeah, we've done.
You are done?
Yes.
The IGP didn't come?
Yes, he did.
The National Security Minister did, appeared before the committee?
Yes, I've told you that I don't want to speak on it.
Have you presented your evidence?
No.
Why? They didn't give you the opportunity?
Not started yet.
They've not even started?
No.
So who did they deal with?
I've told you I don't want to make any comment.
But you're a strong man. Why wouldn't you want to talk about it? You're a strong man. You're a strong man. We know that you are.
Yes, I will not make
you are the
any
blunt type. So whatever you see, you say.
That I will not make comment on this issue.
So we will take it that today was the preliminary of the.
I don't know. I don't know. You can get these answers from the Parliamentary Select Committee.
But are you happy? Are you happy with the process so far?
Very, very happy.
You are happy with the process?
Very.
Do you think you have been given a fair hearing on this?
Very, very fair.
So we should be expecting.
Very fair. Very fair.
Very fair. We should be expecting solid evidence from you.
Yes.
Is your evidence ready?
Everything is ready.
Everything is ready, including what? Including what?
I'm not ready to comment on anything. I only tell you everything is ready. And that's it.
I see.
What is it about the proceedings that makes you happy?
Nothing, you see.
What is it about this that makes you feel happy?
So when are we expecting you?
The 2nd of October.
2nd of October, you should be coming before the committee.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
What's your message to Ghanaians?
I don't know. I don't want to speak now.
Ghanaians are willing to hear from you.
The truth will come out.
The truth.
Yes.
From COP Alex Mensah?
Yes.
All right. Wish to see you again.
That's COP George Alex Mensah there. Remember, he's retiring. Today is October 13, correct? He's retiring in 3 days. That's October 16. He said that's September 16. I beg your pardon. He said that earlier. So today, September 13, in 3 days, he's supposed to retire. Now, he's indicated that he has solid evidence. 2nd of October, he's appearing before the committee again. And the final words you heard him speak there says the message to Ghanaians is that the truth will come out soon. What's that truth? We'll get into it. But Atachia is chair of this 7-member committee probing this leaked audio tape. He indicated that the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, they have also instituted investigations into this leaked tape, but they are not going to make their report available to the committee because it is classified. Take a look.
The first person we called upon was the Minister for National Security, Honorable Kandapa. And the reason why we called him is that Superintendent Asari had confessed that he appeared before the National Investigation Bureau. So we will not do a shoddy job by not calling the minister who has superintendents over that bureau, the NIB. So he came to say, indeed and in fact, NIB called Superintendent Asari and the rest of them in relation to the same leaked tape. And they've done a lot of work on it. It's an interim report, but he will not share it with us. Because if you care to know, it's a national security document, it's not declassified. Superintendent Asari, COP Mensah, and the rest of them, even Chief Nabu, they were present. The only person who couldn't show up was the IGP, although he was penciled for today. And they agree with what the Minister for National Security said. And then he was accordingly discharged. Because of the nature of what is happening, we want to do a thorough job and end quickly.
Well, let's stay a bit further on this. The vice chairman of this 7-member committee, who is also the member of parliament for the Bosa North constituency, Honorable James Agalga, is joining us on Zoom for a conversation on the happenings earlier today. James Agalga, thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. One of the things that stood out when you addressed the press earlier today was the decision by the National Security Minister not to provide you, the committee, the details of the National Security's investigations into this leaked audio tape. Is this a position that the committee is going to go by, or you would find other means to find out the details of that report if you so mind?
No. I think that the minister's decision to withhold the report and not furnish the committee with a copy is right. I mean, in law, it is right. Because we are talking about the intelligence community here. And they did their own internal investigations and are saying that they have submitted a preliminary report to the minister in a classified way. You can't demand that what is classified be submitted to Parliament. If we desire to still have what is a preliminary report, then we may have to invoke the appropriate procedure under the Constitution by proceeding to the Supreme Court to get the Supreme Court to make an order authorizing them to furnish us with the details of the report, notwithstanding the fact that it is classified. I'm not sure Parliament has the appetite to do that, because what you must remember is that we are investigating the matter anyway. So what is it that the NIB managed to unravel that we cannot unravel through our own investigations? Remember that we took the decision that it was appropriate for Parliament to investigate the matter and not to allow the executive or its agencies to carry out this investigation. So, seriously speaking, I think that the committee found the minister's responses satisfactory, and we do not intend to proceed to make further demands for any investigative report from the minister's outfit.
I see. But Zalga, so we understand that Daniel Bugiri-Nabo also gave you, the committee, a new audio tape. Is it an entirely new tape from the 45 minutes that you have already, or is it as a continuation or a fuller version of the 45 minutes audio that you already have?
Yeah, so in Bugiri-Nabo's view, this new tape is the fuller version of the earlier tape, which was 45 minutes.
Okay.
This one is almost 2 hours. So we are going to have to interrogate the content like we did in respect of the earlier one. But this time around, you see, you have it in an extended form. So you get to the point where the 45 minutes audio terminates, then you have the continuation.
2 hours? I see, is this the 2 hours, is it an entirely new conversation? What I want to understand is if it's an edited version of the 45 minutes, or it is one that has an extended conversation that does not capture some of the things within the 45 minutes? Because some of the these persons that you interrogated said that the tape had been doctored or edited.
Well, editing, I am not too sure whether it's appropriate to use the word editing, but it's like the earlier audio was shorter. So if you have the same audio, it plays, it's 2 hours approximately, and then it plays for, let's say, 45 minutes, and then you terminate at that point. So you now have the remaining part of the same audio. The committee will definitely be making a comparison of the two tapes, just to satisfy itself that, look, what we have now is nothing but the fuller version of what was earlier played. We need to do some juxtaposition here, because what the witness tells us is that what went viral and was played before the committee was a short version of what he actually had in his possession, and that if we play the fuller version, you'd find that the first 45 minutes of it is what we already have in our possession. And so what we have now would simply just give us the remaining part of the same tape, which is about 2 hours long. So that is all there is to the, tape.
The new tape.
But we'll satisfy ourselves that, yes, indeed, nothing was taken out by way of editorial work or whatever. We must be sure that it was not doctored.
Okay.
That would be done by the committee.
I see. I needed to establish that. So the 2 hours you have now, this new tape, which you say is 2 hours long, is a continuation of the 45 minutes that you have. But COP Alex Mensah earlier today, after your in-camera hearings, told journalists who accosted him that the truth will come out soon. Just for the benefit of yourself, you take a look at this, and I'm going to ask you a question on the basis of that. Take a look.
The process is, everything is going on well. Everything is going on well.
So when are we expecting you?
The 2nd of October.
2nd of October, you should be coming before the committee.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
What's your message to Ghanaians?
I don't know. I don't want to speak now.
Ghanaians are willing to hear from you.
The truth will come out.
The truth?
Yes.
From COP Alex Mensah?
Yes.
All right. I wish to see you again.
So it says the truth is going to come out soon. Honorable Agaga, so with this in-camera hearings and then also all what we've seen and heard from all the persons that you have interrogated, what is the committee being cautious of in operating within your terms of reference to ensure that the things that happen in camera would not also compromise in any way what we have heard publicly being declared by the persons who have appeared before you?
Well, you recall that when in particular, those two, they did not want to make some disclosures openly. So we obliged them the opportunity to make those disclosures in camera. So we would simply give them the opportunity to present to the committee the evidence they thought was inappropriate to be, that should have been adduced, before the camera. And when they do that, of course, we would test the veracity of whatever they say. And once we are done with this second leg of the exercise, we would draw the curtains and evaluate the evidence that would have been collated, and then make a report and present to the plenary.
Will you support the call for the commissioning, at least for the establishment of a commission of inquiry to give more weight into the issues that you have actually put out there? Would you support that call?
To the work that we have done, they will be repeating what we have done. Take, for instance, what the Milshot Commission of Inquiry did. They did what we are doing now. They called witnesses, the witnesses were examined, and in the final analysis, the report was sent to the president. The difference between a commission of inquiry and a parliamentary committee is that with the parliamentary committee, we don't have to submit any report to the president. We would submit our report to the plenary. And at the plenary, our findings will be debated, our recommendations would be considered. And if adopted by the House, Mr. Speaker would send the recommendations to the appropriate quarters for implementation. Mm-hmm. In this country, we know the executive arm implements policy. So the ministries involved, if, for instance, it's about police reform, then Parliament would submit those recommendations to the sector minister, right, for the sector minister to initiate appropriate policy to, bring about the reforms that we would have recommended. But in the case of a commission of inquiry, when a commission of inquiry completes its work, their reports are usually submitted to the president, and the president, once he takes delivery of such a report, he's entitled, in law, to issue a white paper. And in the white paper, he either rejects some recommendations or accepts them. Where recommendations are rejected, the matter ends there. So the two are similar but distinct, in character. So we are not going to recommend that another commission of inquiry be set up to redo our work. No, we can't do that. We won't go there.
Well, you have adjourned the sittings to October 2, 3, and 4. Right? Within now and that period, what are you going to be doing?
First of all, the lawyers for some of the witnesses wanted the committee to furnish them with a new tape that has emerged. So, and we thought that it was proper to grant them the opportunity to go through the new tape and prepare their clients well to respond to the questions that we would be asking them. So we first of all, that was one of the reasons why we had to adjourn. Additionally, You know, a national exercise is underway. I'm talking about the limited registration exercise for persons who have turned 18 or those who previously of age did not register and do not have their names captured on the voters register. That is an important exercise for members of parliament. So we'd also want to visit our constituencies and then ensure that those who ought to be captured in the voters register are duly captured. It has become necessary for us to take those steps because you have an EC which believes that the right of citizens to register and vote, the political rights of citizens must be disrespected. You see, because they've confined the exercise to only the offices of the EC in the various district capitals. That makes the entire process very cumbersome, and if care is not taken, a lot of qualified people are going to be disenfranchised. You know, such a step makes it imperative for members of parliament to go back to their constituencies and to get people sensitized that, you know, people would brave the odds and then go and have their names captured on the register.
I say, Honorable James Ogaga, thank you. Thank you for your time here on Ghana Tonight and for that information also from your sittings earlier today. James Ogaga is Vice Chair of this 7-member ad hoc committee probing this leaked audio tape. Number of things we're learning now. A 2-hour-long new tape has been made available to the committee by Bugiri Nabu. This is the continuation of the 45 minutes which they had earlier. And then also COP Alex Mensah talking about the truth that the Ghanaians will know going forward. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. When these issues come out, the latest of it, you would hear it right here on this platform. But before we go, coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, the National Democratic Congress insists the new cocoa price announced by President Akufo-Addo is a rip-off of cocoa farmers, but the NPP maintains the increase is a record high. So we've heard from the various political actors, government, indeed, the NDC on this matter. But how about the cocoa farmers as well? They have a voice, critical voice in all of this. After this quick break, the cocoa farmers will be joining us to have their take on these new prices. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
I want you so bad, Alfred Ocansey. I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, Alfred Ocansey. I want you so bad, Alfred Ocansey.
Don't me call one casa.
of a goodness rich in milk and butter. In Alpha Cracker, yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha Crackers, simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me kwan point no mo hwe me modam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me nu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba and everything yourself
me ma me no adwojo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho ade a watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Jones sema na nkoyie person na my nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Who is the ultimate energy personality of the year at the 7th edition of your prestigious Ghana Energy Awards under the theme Ghana's Energy Transition Framework, Sector Institutions as Building Block for the 2030 to 2040 target. You can nominate yourself or an institution for categories such as CEO of the Year, Energy Investment Impact Award, Energy Signature Award, Endorsement, Validation, Industry Partners, Media Partners, TV3, Ghana Energy Awards, 7 years of redefining excellence.
You are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us. Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the Sunrise Morning Show with me, Johnny Hughes, Helena Piampofo, and William Asiedu. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7. Your urban lifestyle radio.
Get ready for another cultural explosion like never before. On 21st September, Africa will witness an ultimate celebration of African diversity and flavor at the 3FM Afro Connect event. This is the place to experience the magic of African arts and creativity. You also get to unite in a sizzling jollof war competition, igniting a culinary showdown. Will Côte d'Ivoire hold the jollof war title? So whether you're passionate about food, art, games, or simply making new connections, 3FM Afro Connect event on the 21st of September is the place to be. Venue, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. To sell, call 053-220-0927. 3FM Afro Connect, connecting Africa and beyond.
Brought to you by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. The 3FM Afro Connect is proudly sponsored by...
Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth about the recently announced new prices of cocoa bags as announced by the president over the weekend. Now, the concern is that it is not a true reflection of what the farmers, the cocoa farmers in this country deserve. Now, this was President Akufo-Addo announcing the new cocoa prices over the weekend. Take a look.
Until recently, international prices of cocoa have remained relatively low and made worse by COVID-19. In spite of this, Cocoa Board and government have been taking the very hard decision of increasing producer price of cocoa. Cocoa prices have increased from 7,600 cedis per ton in 2016 to 12,800 cedis per ton in 2022, a significant increase of 68%. This has had an adverse impact on Cocoa Board's financial performance. However, the sustainability of the entire industry hinges on a well-remunerated producer who's willing to invest in business only with the certain that government will pay the appropriate price. The international market is beginning to pick up, and government, in keeping with our promise to our gallant cocoa farmers, has today increased cocoa prices from 12,800 cedis per ton to 20,943 cedis per ton, or 1,308 cedis per bag. That price is 70.5% of the gross FOB price and is equivalent to $1,821 per ton. It is the highest to be paid to cocoa farmers across West Africa in some 50 years.
Take note of that. That President said is the highest to be paid to cocoa farmers in West Africa. We'll be finding out based on the cocoa farmers' own knowledge if this is indeed the case. But this is what the former President John Mahama, flag bearer of the NDC, also responded after this announcement by President Akufo-Addo. Said the government's just announced increase in the farm gate price of cocoa is a rip-off of our hard-working cocoa farmers and their families who continue to sustain our economy through their toil. Continues with the international market price surging to a 46-year record high of $3,600 per ton. The government should have given our cocoa farmers their fair share of the international FOB price. Sadly, the government has chosen to give them a paltry 1,308 cedis per bag, constituting only 52.7% of the FOB price of the product on the international market. This is unfair to our cocoa farmers who have been worse off since the NPP took over the reins of government in 2017. It says in 2016, his government, in addition to the free fertilizer and free cocoa seedlings program, gave cocoa farmers 66.06% of the FOB price of cocoa. And continues that this NPP administration should have built on the foundation. They have rather increased the operational expenses of Cocoa Board and reduced the international FOB share for the farmers. Cocoa farmers certainly deserve better. That's what the former president, the flag bearer of the NDC, put out there earlier. Now, after this, the NPP also addressed the press, and together with the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, also just Joseph Boahenedu, in an open letter to the former president, because he mentioned this. And let me just put it on record that we checked Bloomberg for the current price of a ton of cocoa is $1,374 per ton. That's what Bloomberg is quoting now. So it's actually, in fact, that's $3,674 per ton on Bloomberg. So it's way higher than even the 3,600 that was even quoted by John Mahama, making reference to the fact that the farmers deserve better. But take a look at the NDC as well earlier today when they addressed the press, specifically about this cocoa pricing. We're speaking to some cocoa farmers. The minority leader, Kesla Toforsing, was there. He had this to say.
Cocoa bag biara NDC fu yen hihye kehene ye wa bema in kabag biara ye de bama ho 225 million cedis. Na ye the premium atomodo ye de kakao ye bama 28 million Ghana cedis bag ho.
The NDC government would have increased the price to 2,800 cedis. This government is insensitive.
NDC bababe.
The next NDC government will increase the bag of cocoa for you. Be rest assured.
Fertilizer and yabama free. Cocoa free. Spray yabama free. ya the mumba boko school saka ho adibi osafa tebi o de ye bia ye be ya magbegu kwafo o san the Ghana in Ghana by Ghana osikogo.
So this is the NDC minority. In fact, speaking to cocoa farmers, the audience there were cocoa farmers. Now, the NPP also addressed the press after the NDC press conference earlier today, responding to some of the issues they raised. You take a listen to the NPP.
We're here because the NDC is either intentionally, because they have been in government before, so I won't say they don't know, they know, but intentionally for mischief purposes, confusing spot price with forward price that we have achieved. They are not the same. And so this is what the drama the NDC want to create in Ahafo. And we want to plead with you that the facts are clear. Those who care about Ghanaian farmers is clear. This government, this NPP government, led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, thought about Ghanaians and generated that additional income for them, a free $400 living income differential. This government, for many years, the dream in the Cocoa Board Act to create a pension scheme for cocoa farmers. This government is realizing that dream. That's the government that thinks about Ghanaians. This government that introduced cocoa rehabilitation program to ensure that cocoa trees that yielded 10, 20 pods per tree can now yield 100, 300 and more.
So you hear him talk about, and that's Richard Ahiagba, is the Director of Communications of the NPP. He talks about the spot price and then the forward pricing. What the Cocoa Board CEO explained or in response to the concerns raised by the NDC was that the cocoa being produced this year has already been sold. So they do the forward pricing. So they use more of last year's rates to have already sold this year's cocoa. So the spot price that we are seeing on Bloomberg now, that's $3,674 per ton, is not even applicable because we're using another formula. We'll be finding out from the cocoa farmers whether this formula is benefiting them. Stevenson Anane Boateng is the president of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association. He's joining us on Zoom. Anane Boateng, thank you so much for staying and joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First of all, the president makes the point that this recently announced increase in the cocoa prices per bag for you, the cocoa farmers, actually the highest in West Africa. How much does the farmers of the cocoa farmers in Ivory Coast, how much do they get for a bag of cocoa? That's if you're aware.
At the moment, I know they sell it at 1,800. In fact, about 8 months ago, I went there, and you know, last year, government increased the cocoa to 1,450 for a bag of cocoa at Abrico. But along the line, it seems the prices have been increased. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they sell their cocoa to private companies. They do their own adjustment here and there. But then, about less than 2 weeks ago, 1.5 weeks ago, I went to Ivory Coast again. I went to Elibo, where we have our office there in Akufa. And then I tried to enter Ivory Coast and see what is going on there. When I went, the price was still 8,800. The government hasn't increased the cocoa of 2023-2024 season yet, but I know the price is like that. And I was trying to inquire about why it is like that. And they told me that people smuggle cocoa from Ghana to the place just because the cocoa at Ghana is 800. And when you take it there, they buy it at 1,800. We don't know who and who does that. But we know the businessmen have taken advantage on that. So if you ask me at the moment, what I know is 1,800 cities.
1,800 cities. And you are now getting 1,308. So obviously, Cote d'Ivoire, from what you're telling me, Cote d'Ivoire cocoa farmers are paid higher in terms of payback price. But you see, if you could, Mr. Annan, if you could sit back a bit for me, because your appearance on the Zoom is cutting off your head. So please position yourself well for me. You are critical in this whole conversation. You are the cocoa farmers. Let me find out from you if this 1,308 is going to discourage smuggling, because that's one of the objectives that the president talks about, that this increase will help discourage you, that's cocoa farmers or anybody involved in smuggling Ghana cocoa outside of this country. And this forward pricing mechanism that Cocoa Board is talking about, does it benefit you, the farmers, in any way?
This is a serious issue because you know, before their price, which was approved by the government, was 1,450. And if government is increasing our cocoa to increasing it, and it goes up to 1,308, it's likely that we are nowhere, because people will do it, and they will do it seriously, just because now, you know, people know, everybody will know the price compared to the previous year. It's not even up to their their level. And for that matter, this practice will never stop. It is going to be encouraging more for people to do it. It's rather going to encourage it.
I see. But, you know, the Cocoa Board CEO is talking about the forward pricing mechanism and the fact that that's what is being used. So the cocoa you are producing this year has already been sold. That's the understanding that we get at that forward pricing mechanism structure, or the formula that they are using. But beyond all the back and forth, you are the farmers, either the beneficiaries or the victims in what the discussion that's going on right now. Is this forward pricing mechanism benefiting you in any way?
At all. But you know what? We cocoa farmers nowadays don't trust any politician, because they have frustrated us for a long time. You know, our worry is that any time they come on, they want to win a power or come to power, they use we cocoa farmers for votes for power. They will come and tell us, give a lot of promises, but at the end of the day, they do nothing. Let us consider this kind of PNDC law 81, which is Cocoa Board law. It mandated we cocoa farmers not to sell our product to anybody apart from government. It's the same constitution that mandated Cocoa Board to do pension scheme and our welfare for us. But for 40 years now, nothing has been done about it. Anytime any government comes, he promised. And now they are coming to give us promise. When Anadu came, he lined the thing. He has even commissioned the board for that thing. To date, we all heard that New Edubiase is where they are starting the thing from. Go and ask them, and you can find out from MPRA and know that whether even a single person has been, accepted onto the scheme. It's bad. It's bad. So we have no trust for any of these politicians. So farmers and cocoa farmers, so far as NACOFA, Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association is concerned, we have our thoughts about these politicians who always try to deceive us.
I see. Thank you for your time here, and then also making your voice heard in all of this? Cocoa farmers, very critical indeed. Stephen Anane Boateng is the president of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association. Appreciate your time. Let's go next to the issues happening in the NPP. As in North, as a Central Member of Parliament, Kennedy Japan, secured a top spot, followed by Dr. Bawumia on the ballot paper for the November 4 NPP flag bearer race. The aspirants have been speaking about what their positions mean today, and we're going to put that on the screen right now. This is how they appear on the ballot paper as per the earlier balloting today, and this is it. That's what you see there, and then more from the bottom up to Dr. Freya Koto, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and Kennedy Japan. And in fact, this is not the first time Kennedy Japan is speaking number one. During the Super Delegates Conference, he picked number one. In fact, he was number one on the ballot paper. So Kwame Owusu is a spokesperson for Kennedy Ohene Japan. He's joining us on Zoom. Also, thank you for your time here on Ghana Tonight. So you picked number one again. Does this mean anything to you?
Good evening to your listeners. The issue about picking one earlier on and one the second time, I don't know whether a mere coincidence or I cannot say, but on our way to the committee place at the headquarters, Honorable said he was going to pick one today. I don't know how he picked it up, but luckily we did. I would say that this particular first place that has been picked, people believe in omen in our part of the world, and it's going to boost and give confidence to those grassroots people working for Honorable. Nothing at all is positive for us. But for me, I will only caution that our people do not relent. They just don't go and then jubilate and say, because we have picked one, we are going to be the winners. I believe in hard work, and all of them should go right now and start door to door and make sure that the dreams and the good things that Honorable has for this country is achieved.
I see. So when you meet the delegates, what do you tell them? What's the message, really?
I think we've gone through we are only left about 33 constituencies. We've gone through the country about 2 times. We've delivered message that everybody is very much aware. The principal thing will be PAD. The most important thing for us is discipline. This country, we need a disciplinarian so that we change the mindset of all of us, because no one person can govern the country. You can see contractors who do the roads the next 2 months. It just, everything just breaks up and nobody gets punished. And he be the leader, be a key for all of us. People that work around him, his appointees, the police, the private workers and contractors who get government contracts will not shortchange Ghanaians. And I believe that is the key thing, that everybody is going to look up to him come December 2024. Okay. The first step we are going through is just an internal process. But I believe the ultimate is to choose a flag bearer who will be able to be appealing to the rest of the people in our country. And I believe it's Honorable Kent who has all that it takes to be able to face
I see,
NDC,
but
given the current economic
also
crisis that we have
quickly before we go. So you had concerns after the special or the super delegates conference. Have those concerns been addressed by the party? Unfortunately, we lost Kwame Owusu there. He is spokesperson for Kennedy Japan, and Dennis Miracles Abuaje is also a member of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign team. He's also joining us on Zoom. Thank you for your time, Mr. Abuaje. So from number 10 in the super delegates, you are now number 2. What message are you carving out of this position, as we've seen consistent with the party in the past?
I mean, you remember we had this conversation when the
special delegate conference was coming up, and our position was clear that for us, our focus is to reach out to party executives. In this case, the polling station executives, the electoral area coordinators, and then the regional up to national executives who have votes and government officials who have votes, so that we could sell Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's message to them and then get them to vote for us on the D-Day. The second job we would have to do is what we call voter education, which is part of every electionary process. And so we've never really been so much fixated on our position on the ballots. And I think we made that point quite clear during the special delegate, and that continues to be our position now.
I see. So no messaging around this number 2 position that you've picked?
I mean, it's just voter education. We didn't have any special messaging around the number 10, except to say that find Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on the ballot paper. He is number 10 on the ballot, and then you vote for him. Same applies to the November 4th elections. I mean, I think I made that point severally, that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is one person that everybody can recognize and identify in this country. Children, adults, old women, old men, young, can identify him no matter where he finds himself on the ballot paper. What is crucial is that we capture the minds and the hearts of the voter. And once we're able to capture the minds and the hearts of the voter, they will find you on the ballot paper and vote for you. So our message remains that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the MPP's surest bet to win election 2024, and the party people can count on that, and for that reason they should give him their support and vote.
So we're trying to rectify the connection with Kwame Osu, but what's the next step of the campaign for you after this number 2 that you have picked? Dennis?
Since last week, the Vice President has been back on the road post the 26th August elections. He's been to the OT region. He's currently in the Volta region. He will be doing the Volta region up to somewhere around the 17th of this month. And then he will move to Western North. He will move to Ahafo and Western North, Bono East, and then go to the 5 northern regions. Before the special delegates, the Vice President had done 5 regions, and so we still have about 11 regions to go. He's currently done 1, he's on the second one, then we would have done 7, and then he continues like that. The objective still remains the same: get to the voter, sell your message to the voter, tell the voter why you are the best qualified party person to lead this party.
See, but, well, anyway, thank you. But Ms. Also, I understand you're back. You raised concerns that the Kennedy Japan team, unfortunately, we still having challenges with Kwame Owusu's connection on the Zoom. Apologies for that. He speaks for Kennedy in Japan, and also Dennis Miracles Abaji is a member of the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team. But before we go, this month inflation, as announced by the government statistic for the month of August, has seen a significant reduction to 40.1%. That's the consumer price index. It is the lowest in the last 12 months. But food inflation is still high, about 55%. Take a look. And that's what you see there in April, 41.2, 42, 42.2% in May, and in June, 42.5%, in July, 43.1%, and in August, 40.1%. But just bear in mind that food inflation is still high at 55, from 55% down to 51.5%. So that is still the concern that the government station expressed earlier today. And that means that we are still buying food prices at a very, very high cost. It's a conversation that we're going to be having in the coming days, especially with the launch of this second phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs program, whether it's going to make any significant difference in the prices of items of food that we see on the market. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Join us same time tomorrow. On behalf of the rest of the team, we appreciate your company. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.